Welcome to Math 1.2, Chapter 1, Lesson 2. All right. A learning target for this video and for this lesson is to be able to express ratios as rates and fractions. Okay, a ratio compares two things. So I have so many of this compared to so many of this. And when I say this to this, it's like in a class I might have 10 boys and 12 girls. So it's 10 to 12. And I can express that as a rate, or I can express that as a fraction. And then I want to make sure that fraction is in simplest form. I know you guys know about reducing fractions, getting it into its simplest form. All right. And last lesson was on greatest common factor. We'll use that to help us to get things down to its simplest form. All right. So let's get going here. Learning target. We're going to take some ratios and we're going to put them in fraction form. And then we're going to make it the simplest fraction form. Let's start over here with this right here. If you can't tell my nice drawing, I have some suns and I have some moons. Okay? So, what I want to do is I want to do a ratio to compare the suns to the moons. Suns to moons. When it's written like this, it's suns to moons. So how many suns do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, moons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 to 6. That's one way to write a ratio. Another way to write a ratio is 4 colon 6. And then the last way is in a fraction. 4 over 6. 4 divided by 6. Okay? And so I want us to get to be able to do it these three ways, but eventually to have it this. So for every 4 suns, there are 6 moons. 4 to 6. Now, 4 to 6. So I have my rate here, and it's in a fraction form, but I want it in its simplest form. So the way I do this is I either do greatest common factor, and if I do greatest common factor, I'm going to take the smaller the numbers, 4, 1, 4, 2 times 2. So my factors of 4, pretty simple, 1, 2, and 4. Does 4 go into 6? No. Does 2 go into 6? Yes. So there's my greatest common factor. I can divide each side by the greatest common factor because I know it's a factor of each. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. There is my fraction in simplest form. Equivalent to this. It's the exact same. It's the exact same. For every 4, there's going to be 6. For every 2, there's going to be 3. All right? So it just reduces it. Okay. So I compared the suns to the moons, 4 to 6, 4 colon 6, or 4 to 6, and then 4 divided by 6. And then I simplified it. All right? That's all you got to do. All right. So this is kind of the trickiest thing to be able to simplify it. But if we know how to get the greatest common factor, we'll have no problem with that. All right. Now, sometimes you might have data in categories. And so you need to be able to use the ratios to compare categorical data. So let's look at this chart right here. This chart tells me that I'm a pet store, that I have some pets, and that I sold some of them, let's say in this last week. So in this last week, I sold 10 birds, I sold 14 dogs, and I sold 8 cats. Okay, now it's asking me to set up a ratio of cats to pets sold. Okay, so it's cats to pets sold. I can look at the chart, cats, 8. 8 to, now pets sold, that would have to be all of these, right? It'd be the whole number. So then what I do is I do 10 plus 14 plus 8. So this will give me all the pets sold, because that's what it wants. That's what it wants. Okay, so 8 plus 4 is 12, and then 32. All right, so 32. My ratio of cats to pets sold is 8 to 32. Now I could also write it like this, 8 to 32. Or the way I like the best is a fraction, 8 to 32. Okay? For every, for the 32 pets sold, 8 cats were sold. Okay? 8 to 32. Now, I'm looking at this, and I see that they're both even numbers. Once I know they're both even numbers, I know they can be reduced. I know this is not in its simplest form. But what I need to do is find the greatest common factor of 8 and see if any of those factors go into 32. And then I can reduce it. Okay? So I come over here, do my little 8. 1 and 8, 2 and 4, 3. Nope, 3 doesn't go in there. Okay, so does 8 go into 32? Yes. Okay, the greatest common factor is 8. So I'm going to divide each side by 8. 8 divided by 8 equals 1. 32 divided by 8 is 4. 1 to 4. So the way you can interpret this is that for every 1 cat sold, there were 4 pets sold. Okay? It's the same as saying 8 cats sold to 32. This is just in a real simple form. It's in the most simplest form. Okay, and this is where you want to always get. You always want to get it down to the simplest. So you can say, yeah, for 1 to 4. 1 to 4. For every 1 cat, 4 pets sold. So 8 to 32 is the same as saying 1 to 4. It's the exact same. They're equivalent. They're equal. You just figured it out and simplified it, though. Okay? So this is the way to take a ratio, like sons to moons or cats to pets sold. You put it into a fraction, and then you simplify it. All right? Good. You'll watch a little guided practice and then do some independent practice on your own.